Jonas Mercer thought he had a perfect marriage until an anonymous email shattered his world. The message contained undeniable proof. His wife, Serena Mercer, had been unfaithful. Not with one man, not with two, but with 5. Each affair was documented in chilling detail, complete with timestamps, locations, and photographs that left no room for doubt. But as Jonas dug deeper into her secret life, he realized Serena's betrayal was just the beginning. Someone had been watching her. Someone had been waiting, and now Serena was missing. Jonas Holloway never imagined his life would take such a dark turn. For years, he had built what many considered the perfect marriage. He and Serena had been together for nearly a decade, raising 2 beautiful children in a spacious home in a quiet, upscale neighborhood. Their friends admired them, their families adored them, and their social media painted the image of an enviable couple who had it all. Jonas worked as a financial analyst, a career that provided stability and comfort, while Serena thrived as a fitness instructor, her vibrant energy making her well-liked among clients and friends. At first, Jonas never questioned Serena's increasingly busy schedule. She had always been passionate about health and wellness, often working late or attending fitness conventions on weekends. She maintained an active social life, frequently going out for brunches and networking with personal trainers. But something felt different in the past year. Her phone never left her side, always face down on the table. She started dressing differently. New clothes, more makeup, a change in perfume. And then there were the unexplained absences. Jonas chalked it up to stress. Life was hectic, and with 2 kids to care for, he assumed they had fallen into a routine, where passion took a back seat to responsibility. He made excuses, convincing himself that Serena's late nights and distant behavior were simply a phase. But doubt crept in like a slow poison. He noticed how she no longer reached for his hand when they walked together, how her laughter seemed forced when he made a joke, and how she always seemed preoccupied, her thoughts elsewhere. One night, Jonas awoke to find the bed beside him empty. The house was silent, and when he checked the time, it was nearly 2 a.m. Serena had mentioned feeling tired before bed, so her absence unsettled him. He walked downstairs, expecting to find her in the kitchen or perhaps on the couch watching television. Instead, he found her standing in the dim light of the hallway, her phone clutched tightly in her hand, whispering. Her back was turned, and she didn't hear him approach. Jonas listened for a moment, but the words were too hushed, too secretive. When she noticed him, she flinched. It was brief, but he caught it, that flicker of guilt in her eyes before she forced a smile. She claimed she had been talking to a friend from the gym about an upcoming class. Jonas nodded, pretending to believe her. But that was the first time he knew, without a doubt, that something was wrong. Days turned into weeks, and Jonas began paying closer attention. Serena had become a master of deception, offering casual explanations for her inconsistencies, masking her tracks with effortless lies. She left early, came home late, and claimed to be exhausted whenever Jonas suggested a date night or a family outing. She was slipping away, and no matter what he did, he couldn't pull her back. Then the email arrived. It was a regular evening at home. Jonas had just finished helping their son with homework when his phone buzzed. The subject line was chillingly simple. "Your wife is not who you think she is." He hesitated before opening it, his stomach twisting with unease. Inside, there were 5 images. Each one showed Serena in intimate settings with a different man. Different locations, different expressions, but the same undeniable truth. Jonas felt his heart hammer against his ribs. He stared at the images, his hands trembling, his mind racing. A part of him refused to believe it. There had to be an explanation, some mistake. But no matter how he tried to justify it, the evidence was there, undeniable and devastating. As he sat frozen in disbelief, another thought crept in, chilling him to the core. Someone had sent this to him deliberately. Someone wanted him to know. And whoever they were, they knew far more than he did. Jonas sat in silence, staring at the email long after he had finished reading it. His hands shook as he scrolled through the images again, his mind struggling to process what he was seeing. Each picture showed Serena with a different man. Her. Expressions ranging from flirtatious smiles to intimate moments that left no room for doubt. The men were strangers to him, their faces unfamiliar, but the settings told him everything he needed to know. Expensive restaurants, hotel rooms, a dimly lit bar, places she had never mentioned, nights she had claimed to be somewhere else. His breathing became shallow as he tried to rationalize what he was seeing. Was this some kind of joke? A cruel prank meant to tear his marriage apart? But the evidence was too clear, too precise. Someone had gone through the trouble of documenting Serena's affairs, compiling proof, and sending it directly to him. He felt sick. The woman he had built a life with, the mother of his children, had betrayed him in the worst possible way. And not just once, 5 times. Jonas forced himself to examine the men closely. The first was a well-built, dark-haired man, his muscular frame immediately recognizable as someone who spent hours in the gym. This, he realized, must be Lennox Rayner, one of the trainers Serena often mentioned in passing. She had always praised his expertise, claiming he helped her perfect her form and push past her limits. Jonas had never thought twice about it, but now, looking at the way she leaned into him in the picture, her lips dangerously close to his ear, he knew better. The second man was sharply dressed, a polished, well-groomed figure with an air of wealth. Jonas's stomach twisted as he recognized Elias Vance, a well-known real estate broker in their city. He had seen his face on billboards, heard Serena mention meeting him through a mutual friend at the gym. The pieces fell into place. Serena's sudden interest in high-end properties, her casual remarks about investment opportunities. She had been more than interested in real estate. She had been involved with Elias personally. The third man was a stark contrast to the first two. His appearance was more rugged, his clothes casual, his demeanor relaxed. Jonas recognized him vaguely as a musician who performed at a local bar. Malik Stern. Serena had always loved live music, often insisting she needed a break from home life to unwind. Jonas had trusted her, believing she just needed time with her friends. But the image in front of him told a different story, one where she wasn't just there for the music. Then came the fourth man. Jonas felt a deep sense of unease as he studied his face. Damon Cross. A name he recognized immediately because Serena had mentioned him more than once. A married man, a well-respected surgeon with a wife and children. The weight of the betrayal grew heavier. This wasn't just an affair, it was a dangerous entanglement that could destroy multiple lives. The final image sent a fresh wave of anger through him. Warren Kessler, the new tech entrepreneur who had moved into their neighborhood just months ago. Jonas had only spoken to him a few times, exchanging polite words at community gatherings. But it seemed Serena had done far more than exchange pleasantries. She had welcomed him into their world in ways Jonas never could have imagined. The reality of it all sank in like a stone in his chest. This wasn't a one-time mistake. It wasn't a fleeting moment of weakness. Serena had been living a double life, carefully weaving lies to keep him in the dark. And someone had been watching, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal it all. Jonas's head swam with questions. Who had sent the email? Why now? And what did they gain from exposing Serena? He clenched his fists, a storm of emotions brewing inside him. He needed answers. He needed the truth. But most of all, he needed to know. How long this had been going on, and how much more there was to uncover. Jonas couldn't sleep. The images burned into his mind, replaying like a nightmare he couldn't escape. Every moment he had trusted Serena, every time he had believed her excuses, now seemed like a cruel joke. But what tormented him more than the betrayal was the question of who had sent the email. Someone out there had been watching, collecting evidence, and waiting for the right moment to expose her. Why? And how much more did they know? Determined to find answers, Jonas reached out to a private investigator, Theo Graves. Theo had built a reputation for uncovering secrets most people wanted buried. He was discreet, efficient, and ruthless when it came to getting the truth. Jonas hesitated before making the call, but the moment he heard Theo's calm, calculating voice on the other end, he knew this was the right decision. Within days, Theo had gathered more information than Jonas could have imagined. Serena's web of deceit was deeper than he had expected. Each man in the photos had played a different role in her life, and each affair served a distinct purpose. Lennox Rayner, the gym trainer, was the man she turned to for passion. Their affair was purely physical, built on adrenaline and lust. They had been meeting in hidden places, his apartment, gym locker rooms, and even late-night hotel stays when Jonas believed she was attending fitness seminars. Elias Vance, the wealthy real estate broker, provided Serena with luxury. He showered her with expensive gifts, took her on extravagant getaways, and indulged her in ways Jonas never could. Bank statements revealed sudden increases in Serena's spending, unexplained transactions linked to high-end boutiques, and deposits into an account Jonas had never known about. Malik Stern, the struggling musician, was her escape from reality. He was the one who made her feel young, reckless, and free. Serena had helped fund some of his projects, supporting him financially while indulging in a dangerous romance that was built on secrecy. Damon Cross, the married surgeon, was a man of power and secrecy. Their affair was calculated, hidden beneath layers of deception. He had the most to lose, and yet he had risked it all for Serena. Jonas found himself wondering how many lies Damon had told his own wife to keep the affair alive. Warren Kessler, the tech entrepreneur, was the most troubling of all. Unlike the others, he wasn't just an affair. He was a manipulator. Theo discovered that Warren and Serena had been engaged in something far more sinister. Private messages hinted at financial deals, whispered threats, and a level of control Jonas couldn't yet understand. But the most alarming discovery came when Theo hacked into Serena's burner phone, a hidden device she had kept far from home. The messages inside were filled with panic, desperation, and fear. Someone had been threatening her. One message stood out. "You don't get to play all sides and walk away. You owe me. And if you don't deliver, Jonas will find out the hard way." Jonas felt his blood turn cold. Serena hadn't just been cheating. She had been caught in something dangerous, something that now put him in the center of it. Had she been blackmailing Damon? Stealing from Warren? Using Elias for more than just money? Each affair seemed to serve a purpose beyond just infidelity. She had manipulated every man she was involved with, but at least one of them had turned on her. As Jonas sat in the dark, rereading the message, a terrifying realization hit him. Serena wasn't just lying. She was running out of time. And if she didn't fix whatever mess she had created, someone was going to make sure Jonas paid the price. Serena was gone. Jonas awoke to an empty house, expecting to hear the usual morning noises. Water running, the sound of Serena getting ready, the soft hum of the coffee maker. But instead, there was silence. He checked the bedroom, then the bathroom, then the kitchen. Nothing. At first, he assumed she had left early for the gym, but when he noticed her car still parked outside, unease settled in his stomach. He tried calling her phone, but it went straight to voicemail. That was unusual. Serena always kept her phone on, especially since she was constantly messaging someone. He checked their children's rooms, relieved to find them still sleeping peacefully, unaware that their mother was missing. An hour passed. Then 2. Jonas's unease grew into dread. He called Serena's closest friends, hoping one of them had seen or heard from her. They hadn't. By midday, panic set in. The police were called, and within hours, a full investigation was underway. Detectives searched the house looking for any sign of forced entry or struggle. There was none. Her purse and wallet were missing, but her phone was found abandoned in her car, left in the passenger seat. That didn't make sense. Serena never went anywhere without it. Then came the worst part. Jonas became the prime suspect. The moment Serena was officially reported missing, the questions started. The detectives didn't look at him like a worried husband. They looked at him like a criminal. They asked about their marriage, about their fights, about whether Serena had ever mentioned wanting to leave. Jonas could see where this was heading. Tao. Media got involved, and within days, headlines began circulating. Missing woman's husband under scrutiny. News reports painted Jonas as the jealous husband, the man who had discovered his wife's affairs and snapped. People who had once called him a friend now looked at him with suspicion. Neighbors whispered. His colleagues at work avoided him. It was as if the world had already decided he was guilty. Then the police found something even more disturbing. During a second search of the house, they discovered a hidden safe in Serena's closet, concealed behind a panel. Inside, they found stacks of cash, over $200,000, multiple passports under different names, and a handwritten note. If something happens to me, look for the one who knows my biggest secret. Jonas stared at the note, his hands trembling as he held it. What secret? And who was she talking about? The evidence suggested one thing. Serena had been planning to disappear. But if that was the case, then why had she left everything behind? And who had forced her to run? The media frenzy escalated. News anchors speculated about possible motives. Online forums dissected every detail of their marriage. And strangers posted theories about how Jonas had gotten rid of his wife. It didn't matter that he had no criminal record, no history of violence. In the court of public opinion, he was already guilty. But then, the investigation took a chilling turn. Surveillance footage from a gas station near a remote lake showed Serena the night she disappeared. She wasn't alone. She was seen getting into a car with one of the men from the photos, Lennox Rayner, the gym trainer. Jonas's heart pounded as he watched the grainy footage. Serena had looked tense, nervous. She had hesitated before getting in, looking over her shoulder as if checking if she was being followed. The police moved fast. Lennox was brought in for questioning, but his story was inconsistent. First, he claimed he had never seen Serena that night. Then, when confronted with the footage, he changed his story. He admitted they had met, but insisted she had left on her own. Jonas knew he was lying, but what haunted him more than anything was the sinking feeling that, no matter what the truth was, Serena was never coming home. The days after Serena's disappearance felt like a surreal nightmare. Jonas was trapped in a relentless cycle of suspicion, media scrutiny, and his own tormenting thoughts. The police continued their investigation, but they treated him less like a grieving husband, and more like a suspect waiting to slip up. Every interview, every word he said, was dissected and analyzed. The weight of it all crushed him, but nothing compared to the gnawing fear that Serena was truly gone, either by choice or by force. Then a breakthrough came. Detectives uncovered bank transactions that connected Serena to Warren Kessler, the tech entrepreneur. Large sums of money had been funneled through shell accounts, eventually leading back to Warren's company. It wasn't just an affair. Serena had been involved in something much bigger, fraud, money laundering, or something worse. Warren was brought in for questioning, but he was calm, almost too composed. He denied any involvement in Serena's disappearance, brushing off their financial connections as business matters that had nothing to do with her personal life. But Jonas could see through him. Warren wasn't just lying. He was playing a game, one where the stakes were life and death. As the investigation pressed on, A chilling discovery shattered any hope that Serena had simply run away. A fisherman, near the lake, miles away from the last known sighting of Serena, reported finding a woman's belongings near the water, a purse, a pair of shoes, and a torn piece of clothing. The items were confirmed to be Serena's. The lake was searched, divers combing through the murky depths, but no body was found. The police presented Jonas with two grim possibilities. Serena had been murdered and her body hidden, or she had staged her own disappearance to escape something or someone. Then, late one night, Jonas received an anonymous email. "She played too many games. Now she's gone. Stop looking." The sender was untraceable. No name, no leads. But the message was clear. Someone had punished Serena for her secrets. Jonas's mind raced. Who had sent it? Was it a warning? A confession? Had one of the men from her affairs finally had enough? Had Warren silenced her to protect himself? Had Damon Cross, the married surgeon, eliminated the risk of his own life being destroyed? Or was it Lennox, the gym trainer, who had been caught in a web of lies he couldn't escape? Days turned into weeks, and still, there were no answers. Jonas was never charged, but the cloud of suspicion never fully left him. The case remained open, yet stagnant, as if the truth had been buried too deep to ever be uncovered. The media moved on, the headlines faded, and life forced itself to return to some sense of normalcy. But for Jonas, normal was impossible. Every night, he replayed the events in his head, wondering what had really happened to Serena. Had she been a victim, or had she orchestrated her own fate? Had she underestimated the danger of the games she played, or had she known the risks all along? The truth remained just out of reach, a puzzle missing its final piece. And as he lay, awake in the darkness, Jonas couldn't shake the feeling that someone, somewhere, was still watching, waiting, just like before.